later in our website so people know a little bit more what's happening. So I'm gonna just mute everybody so it's easier, and then we can have a discussion. But I wanted to spend uh, some time to talk about what happened yesterday, and also, the frustration of these outages and how, we depend so much of the internet these days, and what's happening, what are the solutions, and if this is going to be a thing that is going to be happening all the time, or there is a solution coming up. So first, my name is, I'm meeting people in here as well at the same time. Um, my name is Allan Saenz. I'm the owner of Los Alamos Network. We have Jerry Smith from Los Alamos County. I don't see Jerrold Baca from REDINet, but I think he will connect soon. Um, and Christopher Olsen actually was giving us a more detail where this fiber cut happened. It looks like it was in some point somewhere north of Santa Fe. Um, and this shows how there is miles of fiber all over that is a single point of failure, right? All over. And it could happen anywhere and anytime. And it doesn't matter who did it or what, but the problem is that that's been a problem for a long time. It's not the first time. It has happened for many years in multiple ways. And as soon as they break it, it is hard to locate. There is no maps. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes, the repair, it takes also long hours. So that is pretty much, why we have these outages in Los Alamos. I was gonna say something else, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to admit people in here. Okay. So, last time we had this problem, we went and bought a Starlink and we tested. This time that this happened, we were ready to install it. It was activated. We start connecting some businesses, but okay, I'm adding people, sorry. But unfortunate, the Starlink is not enough to sustain the capacity of what our fiber network, does already. So we start doing businesses, and then I was able to work with some filters and some firewall rules to prioritize only essential traffic. So when I start traffic shaping a little bit the Starlink, that allowed me to bring it to some residential areas, but it was limited and I didn't want to load it too much. So, even if we got 10, 20, 100 Starlinks will not replace the capacity of our fiber backbone. So that's not an option. Even that right now we will buy some more Starlinks and place them in different specific locations, that we have identified, and we will be separating that traffic and balance it better in different areas. But something that we have to understand is that this is a backup, so it is not like to be scrolling on Facebook or watching videos or downloading an update, right? So to know that this is more like an emergency, and the more that we use it better, the more people can use it and have a way at least to communicate. So that is something that we did this time, but this is something that is happening for now. You have noticed, that construction of fiber to San Ildefonso. This is part of the county project that will connect Los Alamos to Pojoaque, connecting the connecting us to REDINet fiber. That will be a second, an independent route, completely separate from Lumen. Doesn't mean that it won't be cut at some point because it could happen, but it is completely separate from Lumen. So, like for example, during this outage, they didn't have a problem because their fiber was working all the way to Albuquerque. This will provide a redundancy. So because of that fiber, Los Alamos network will be able to connect to that fiber. So these Starlinks will help for now, but as soon as we can connect to this second path, then we will have a second completely from Lumen. So I think that is exciting. That is something that it has been worked for decades, and now it is happening. Jerrold Baca from REDINet, it is here, so maybe he can explain us a little bit more about that project. And all this is uh, actually big. Los Alamos Network or Los Alamos Community Network started 28 years ago, and at that moment, we used to provide 56K dial-up, 1.5 megabits DSL, and tonight and right now we provide gigabit speeds, and it's just crazy, right? On how much has changed, and it continues. Everything connects to the internet. My fridge, I joke here in the office that one day the toilets are going to be connected, and just the dependence of the internet, it is so much. And we've been taking steps to do those things. One, it is this backup, but at the same time, we've been upgrading our towers, including the one in North Mesa, to have and deliver gigabit speeds in more areas. That way, also, it will provide a different path as well to be more reliable. That will help us. We're implementing failovers as well as part as we continue to provide a better internet service. And with that, we work with our staff to try to improve the support in on the inside of the house. One thing it is the service that we provide, and there is another animal inside the house where is your router, so many things, so many devices that affects at the end the end user experience. So that is something that we're trying now to help and improve by implementing managed Wi-Fi routers so we can help in with their wireless network. We're extending our hours of customer supports, and we started to provide free inspections to our customers so we go and inspect, and that way we realign or fix anything to provide maximum speeds and make sure that everything is normal. And we continue to grow with IT services, cameras, voice or IP systems. So again, so much has changed since we started 28 years ago. But things continue to develop. During those 20 years, there has been plans and attempts to bring fiber to houses and businesses from Los Alamos County. So it has been a challenge. And this path, it is part of those efforts. And starting next year, Los Alamos County will begin installing fiber optics in Los Alamos and White Rock to residential and businesses. So this is another big step for fiber optics and internet and broadband and redundancy for Los Alamos as we have never had before. And Jerry Smith, it is here to talk to more about the community broadband project. So I hope, this information, at least it's useful to know in what situation we are right now, what's happening, and what are we doing right now, and what's happening, what's coming. So if you don't have, I don't know if someone has a question or comment. If not, I can, Jerry or Jerrold can talk to us more about these upcoming projects. and thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So if someone wants to ask or say something, feel free now, or Jerry, go ahead and
This is Andy Phelps,
yeah.
and we love our town. But we've been here since '06, and the challenges on utilities have not been inconsequential. Um, we would never put electrical feeds to our county with a single feed. We'd never do a single water supply. We always have alternatives. And I've actually, Al and I have two of your highest bandwidth lines, one going to my business Space Nukes and the other one to my house. And I have a backup here which all went down, and it basically shuts my business down when that happens at a significant cost. Our county seems to be able to put lots of money into golf courses and wanting to put plastic grass down on the baseball diamonds and all sorts of swimming pools. But if we don't get the basics right, and I've built and designed and built, whole communities all over the world, you would never do that without that. I'm delighted to hear we have at least one backup coming with an alternate source of feed. But I couldn't even guess how much financial impact yesterday had on our community. I know whole businesses shut down and locked their doors. My wife was in one that did that. They couldn't take any money. I mean, that's how dependent we are on this. So this is, a lifeblood to our community. And you don't see it talked about enough in the county. Our utilities in this town are ancient, sewer lines especially. And I'd much rather put our money, which we seem to have a whole lot of, into the things that basically allow us to live our lives. So Alan, thank you for what you do. I've been a customer for quite a while. Your service is great, but when you can't get service, you can't supply me, and I'm going to have to buy my own Starlink if we can't do that. I'll shut up for a while.
Well, and thank you. And yes, actually, and also impact us as a business. We have lost customers to Starlink. So that has been an impact directly for us to provide a service. And also, LAnet has helped bring Sala, that project to life, right? So when we are losing customers, it is not good for us. It's not good for the community. One of the things that the impact of a small local internet company like Los Alamos Network and how it started is that it has helped also push better internet in Los Alamos. It has helped Comcast to upgrade their services because if at the moment that they don't have competition, they don't have to provide anything better. That happens in other communities as well. So before, a lot of people used to have DSL. Now Lumen doesn't provide DSL. And that is, Andy, just on that real quick, and I'm not gonna try to say that much, but I have the same concerns as you with the county putting sometimes, and also especially with housing, where you try to bring more people to a place that doesn't have the infrastructure to support more people, but that's another topic. So thank you. Anyone else?
Can I ask, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Um, I heard this rumor that possibly that I didn't see the first part of the meeting, so I apologize if I missed something. But I heard a rumor that maybe this line was cut, that there was foul play involved. Is that is there anything to that rumor?
I hope not. I haven't heard anything unless it's
Uh,
Elon Musk to take this
I really don't know
but
any
no, I
very
don't.
much about how all of that stuff's
So
put
right
together,
now,
but
I have
I
a ticket open with Lumen to get some answers, and they provide it, but usually it takes hours on the phone trying to reach the right person. So I have played that game before, and today we were really busy to do it, but I have a ticket open, and hopefully they provide more information about that.
Oh, so you are looking into maybe something like that happen.
Yeah.
The other thing is that fellow that just got through talking, I agree with everything that he said. I mean, my property taxes are huge, and I feel that the county does not provide decent services for what we have to pay as a property owner. Are you still there?
Yes.
I get more in Carlsbad for $700.
What? What did you say?
No, someone was. So
No,
no, yeah, that is, but Jerry's here, and maybe he can tell us a little bit about these efforts that the county it is working on, and some of the things that are going to happen next year. So and Jerrold, it is there as well. I'm actually gonna start with Jerrold first because I was talking previously about with this fiber that is going through San Ildefonso that eventually will connect to REDINet in by Pojoaque, that will be a second path for avoiding looming. So can you and then that we will have the capacity to connect to that fiber and then have an alternative, creating 100% redundancy. So anything that you can tell us about that project and how's it going?
Can I ask one more question? I just got this ad in the mail about HughesNet, and I was wondering if you'd heard anything about that.
Yeah, that
if
is
anyone had.
a service that connects via satellite. Unfortunate
Yeah.
service, it is really slow and there is a lot of latency. So
Okay.
it's really hard to use. But that is a service that a lot of people use more in rural areas where, there is no better options.
I used to have HughesNet years ago. Used to be owned by DirecTV. It is a satellite service. It was horrible. I could not stream anything on the TV at all. So just so you know, it wasn't very good.
I'll cut that one up then.
Yeah. While I'm here, I've got to parrot what Andy and Eileen have all said that it's frustrating. I own a business as well. Yesterday, I was actually supposed to have been in an 8-hour webinar. I made it through the first hour and a half and couldn't get back on. And it was a $400 class that I'm going to have to retake. And so it's difficult when you're dealing with a business and trying to do things with your business, and then you are completely cut off to the world, especially with the cell signal down as well, because I could have at least hotspotted off of my phone, but I couldn't even do that either. But I have been with Allan as well for several years and absolutely love the service and love the customer service behind it. It's just that the county has got to do something to make this to where it's not happening anymore. When we only have one line of communication coming in and nothing else to back that up is absolutely insane. For a town full of scientists and engineers, it is insane. And so it sounds to me like you guys are on the right track to try to fix that problem, but thank you.
Thank you. And we appreciate so much, the trust that customers have put on us, actually, as I reflect on this for, their daily internet needs. So I really appreciate the support of all the customers that we have. And so thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Allan, thanks for having this meeting, first of all. All of our communication is through LAnet. We're out in the Hemaz, and when you guys go down, we have no cell phone or internet service. So am I understanding you correctly that what we have going right now is temporary until the fiber optic cable or whatever was cut can be repaired? Did I understand that right?
Yes, so that is correct that by having this fiber will allow us not to depend on Starlink for just emergency backup. Instead, we'll be connecting to a fiber that it will be a different path from Lumen. So that way, if Lumen gets caught and Verizon and Comcast, that LAnet will continue working in Los Alamos and in Gemes, in Sierra Los Pinos as well.
Okay, so I can't think of how to word what I'm trying to say. So should we anticipate other problems, say within the next 24 to 48 hours? Or is everything back up and going good for us and it's going to stay that way until something else happens?
But that unfortunate, I cannot say, but I hope it is resolved and they have, they don't do it again. But last time we had the same
Yeah.
problem where it was caught and then it was caught after. So there is a possibility that it could happen again. I hope that it doesn't. Please.
Well, sure. Okay. Well, you answered my question then by
Yes.
saying that. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Jerrold, can you please tell us a little bit more?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name's Jerrold Baca. Allan, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. I'm the general manager of REDINet.
Good, right?
We are a middle mile provider, and Los Alamos County is one of our entities that is on our board. Santa Fe County, Rio Arriba County, Santa Clara Pueblo, Ocoyawinge Pueblo, Tesuque Pueblo, Pojoaque Pueblo, City of Espanola are all on our board. So what we do right now, we are serving the Los Alamos County, and Los Alamos County is using REDINet for the guest network, the guest Wi-Fi network. So we depend on the Lumen link as well, but we have a redundant link that is wireless to one of the water tanks, up to the water tanks. So we were able to stay connected. If we lose the fiber connection like we did yesterday, our capacity cuts down by a factor of 10. So number one, you're going to have everyone in the parking lot trying to connect to the guest Wi-Fi network through the county. And number two, we're going to just be reduced to a wireless connection versus the fiber connection. So as Allan has mentioned, we are working with Los Alamos County and with San Ildefonso Pueblo to get a different fiber route off of the hill into Los Alamos to provide the network. So what we can do is we can partner with LAnet to utilize that new fiber strands for LAnet. So now they will have two routes off the hill, one being Lumen, the existing one, and one being the new connection. The new connection is not expected to be active until the end of 2025, now the end of December. Many of you have seen the signs that are out there by White Rock. When you're leaving White Rock by I believe it's the Del Norte building, they have a sign there, and there's one down by the Totave gas station mentioning this fiber project. The issue we're currently having is crossing the Rio Grande. They're working on easements, right-of-ways, all of the requirements to cross the Rio Grande. So they are working on that. Once we get that, we have a route off, and then we will work with LAnet and the county to try to improve resiliency. That way, if something goes out, LAnet and the county will have a resilient route. Now, that being said, I think Allan may have mentioned it. I apologize, I connected a little late. This has nothing to do with Verizon Tower or a CenturyLink connection or anything like that. So if A Verizon tower in White Rock requires the CenturyLink connection unless they have the same negotiations with San Ildefonso Pueblo or with San Ildefonso Pueblo and REDINet. That tower would go out if they're not using the LAnet or LA County that is using that fiber. So for that, I'll pause for any questions that anyone may have.
Hey, Jerrold, this is Andy Phelps. One of the problems with the last outages have been there was not enough electronic trace wire put in with the and which is sort of an insane thing not to have done. I mean, the cost of a trace wire is nothing. I
Right.
assume your new fiber has got the trace wire in it, and that should reduce the opportunity for somebody to damage it dramatically.
So it is not our fiber. It is San Ildefonso's fiber. The way I understand it is either the trace fiber is built into the conduit. So the old way that they did it, that this is the way Comcast, or I'm sorry, CenturyLink did it 2,000 years ago, however long they put that in, they just laid the wire in the same trench. So
Then
after
do it.
10 years and um, nature taking its course, insulation has broken down, so they cannot locate where that is.
Yep.
This one, the way I understand it, it is either embedded in the plastic with it, or it is inside of the conduit right next to it. So it is protected from the dirt, from the environment, from the normal decay that would happen if it were direct buried in the ground.
That's first question. Second question is my experience in putting utilities into large communities, new communities, is typically you have 5 or 6 different feeds into a community so that you have significant redundance and you can manage your traffic as to where the demands are. Um, and maybe Jerrold, you're not the right guy to ask. Maybe it's the Jerry guy from the county. Is anybody got a master plan for, our demand on internet is going to keep going up, and we as a town are going to become obsolete if we don't continue to upgrade and have, 10 and 20 fold or 100-fold or 1,000-fold capability on our vision. And every time we lay a new street in this town, nobody ever thinks about, well, maybe I ought to put some fiber in it. Every time we're coming up or down the hill with a water line or something else, why aren't we looking at that? It's a key issue. We're going to be an obsolete town.
So
And I see a nod in your head.
the state has looked at, and I believe Los Alamos County as well, has looked at dig once policies. So they're digging across your street on Diamond Drive, let's just say they're digging for a water line. They need to address if a conduit just needs to be laid down right now, because laying a conduit today would be cheaper than tearing up the pavement and laying one tomorrow. I'll
Or
pause for Jerry. Jerry came on, so Jerry can speak to the county.
Yeah, Alan, do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Very good. Yeah, good evening, folks. These are great questions. If I was in your seat, I'd be here listening to this Zoom and asking the same questions. Hopefully, I'll touch on that answer. We are working on a second fiber line. And as folks have said, that's been worked on for a long time. There's been some reasons why that hasn't happened. Lumen has wanted a second one, but they could never get their act together enough to get a second line or a new line built. Maybe, I mean, I've had recent conversations with them. They continue to work on that. They may end up using the Sanai fiber themselves to have a second fiber link off the hill, but absolutely. The Department of Public Utilities is running new power lines or new water lines, or they're wanting to put fiber out to their wells and their tanks. And while they're doing that, we're saying, hey, put more fiber than you would do just for your system so that we have new lines. There's 2 projects that this is true for specifically. So, I don't want to brag on them or tout them at this point because they're like in the early early stages, but one of them is a little further along, and the other one will happen. So yes, I have two parts to my job. One is helping implement a fiber to the home project, but the other is to make sure that there's more what's called middle mile, and that's what Jerrold is provides. Middle mile just means taking the local fiber that's in your neighborhood and taking it out to the internet. So more middle mile is a big conversation nationwide. The issues are happening all over, and it's just a bigger battle here in our community than it is for a lot of folks. We've only had the one line, even though lots of folks have tried. So yeah, I hear you loud and clear. What you need to do is continue to communicate that need to leadership in the county, so that when there are proposals and possibilities, that it's seen as an important item.
Jerry, this is Andy Phelps again.
Yes, sir.
When I had a sewage problem here, I basically brought the county to the house and talked about what I've done for other communities and cities, which is to put monitoring systems in and basically build a SCADA system to monitor the utilities, which all requires cable and fiber. They took them almost 3 years to get the monitor outside my house. We've now got a dozen of them in the county. But all these things are just pointing to the fact that we're behind times. Do you guys have a master plan for both the feed system to our county, because we are sort of a one-way street up a big mountain, and then the internal master plan? I think when we have master plans and a vision that actually fixes these things over a period of a decade or two is much better than just sort of fixing it with a Band-Aid, as we're trying to do with this one line coming up the road. I would be a strong spokesman for you guys to say this is what we should be doing. I'm frustrated by it because I can't run my business when I don't have internet, and I have a very high tech business, and it's growing like hotcakes, and I want to keep it in this town.
Great. Well, I the master plan is to get a fiber to the home network built to 10,000 locations, homes and businesses, and provide redundant links. And the redundant links, when we build the community broadband network, there'll be equipment that has multiple feeds into the back of it, so that the fiber's sitting there running, and whenever one goes down, the other just picks up. And yes, a third or a fourth will be good. And there are conversations. I work with the state office of broadband, and have conversations with them when I have a need. They have a project manager assigned to the regions in the state, and our project manager here's my needs and my requests. And we try to partner and figure out how can we do projects that benefit the region, and then when they can benefit the region, then the county is going to come alongside and improve things. Having REDINet in northern New Mexico in our region was a huge step that happened back in 2000, I don't know, 8 maybe 12, and it's grown and continues to grow. Supporting REDINet and making sure that REDINet is a healthy organization is a key thing to keeping middle mile strong and stronger in the state and in our region in specific.
Are you getting the money you need from the county to do what you need to do to get this job done right?
So far, yes, I would say yes. Things take longer than I would like to get done, and
yeah, I understand. I'm watching the pipeline going on down, but
yes,
usually
right.
and I shake my head. I've built lots of pipelines, but when you bury cable in a road, you've got all the traffic issues. We've got how many different electrical feeds to our county? I think it's 5 from different locations as part of the state grid. Usually you can piggyback on those options to bring more cable in an existing right of way as opposed to trying to dig on a busy road. I don't know if you guys are looking at those sort of options, but to me, the feed issue is high priority. Getting fiber to the house, big deal. But man, just keeping the internet up is really important.
If I may, Jerry.
Yes, go ahead, Jerrold.
So we have been working, remember, Los Alamos County is landlocked by tribes and
Mhm.
by forests and government lands and the like. So getting out is very difficult.
I
Um,
understand.
we are working. We have been working. We've already looked at going west out of Los Alamos County to neighboring counties along that side. They are interested in doing this, and it's just the getting DOT permitting, getting permitting across Bandelier, getting things like that. We are working this. The state is aware of this all the way up to the state governor's office. Governors of pueblos around are aware of this, and they're willing to work with us. That's where the REDINet model that lets us transverse county lines, tribal lands, and across state ways has been successful in doing this. Unfortunately, Los Alamos County, in its landlocked state, we have some of those other entities that we have not been successful dealing with, uh, U.S. government and the sort. But we have the national laboratory that they want resilient route off, so we're working with them as well. So we are moving. It's just a very slow moving process.
How do we accelerate it?
Talk to your county counselors, talk with your representatives at the state level. They're aware we need to get that. We need to keep it moving. We need to ease the ability to get permits and right-of-way permits. At the state level, the Department of Transportation has said they will give a priority to broadband projects, to fiber projects, not
Well,
just put it in the queue as it goes. They will give it a priority.
Jerry, what would be helpful is on your website to keep us abreast of the plans and the bottlenecks. I talked to all those people you talked to, including the leadership at the lab, and everybody's desperate for this issue. The lab solved a lot of their own problem, and they've got redundant capability, as you know. But how do we get this more people more aware? Because a lot of us do talk to all those people you just mentioned frequently about a lot of things. And it's important to us. If we're going to have businesses grow in our community, we need this is a fundamental need.
Yeah, I would jump in and say this time next year, you'll be seeing a lot more evidence. By this time next year, we'll have our first phase built out, and you'll see internet happening in some neighborhood that is logically chosen for phase one. The timeline for the Community Broadband Network, or CBN as we call it, is 3 years. It'll probably be more like 4 years when we have the entire community built out. We will have the second internet link. It may not be completed until sometime first quarter of 2026. It could get done by the end of this year, depending on how much success they have getting the boring done under the river, but it's probably about 75% done. And the part that's left other than the bridge is, quote, easy, than the part that they've done already, because the conduit's in the ground, and now they just have to put the fiber inside the conduit. The
Is that plan on the
advocate
internet? Is that plan on the internet?
Yeah, so there is a broadband webpage. If you search for broadband on the main website, you'll find the broadband webpage. And yeah, the rest of what I was going to say about this time next year is I personally have been hesitant to have, just education sessions, because the council has needed to approve several things before this project is a done deal. And the only major obstacle left is next Tuesday is the vote for to purchase bonds to do the funding to do the build out. And once that is done, then construction can be approved and moved forward. We're currently the vendor that was awarded the project. They were awarded the design and engineering, and then they were awarded for the build project. They were also awarded the operate the network, so they will not only design and build it, but they'll be around to operate the network. The county is not going to be a network operator. I'll be supervising this vendor that is already operating networks like we have, and it'll be a 5-year term with renewable terms for up to 20 years. So they're motivated to build a good network and have it designed properly, including with resilience. What I expect to do is have sessions like this where we can talk about the phases and where it stands and what you need to do next. You'll start seeing door hangers in the phases, in the locations where the phase is being worked on, so that you'll know that internet is coming and what to do. There'll be a link on this broadband page that will send you to a dashboard where you will see, you can type in your address and see if your internet is up yet. And in our particular case, it's going to be an open access network, meaning we're going to have multiple internet providers on there. So you can choose from multiple internet providers. There's been no agreement signed, but we're in the process of interviewing and validating who the ISPs will be. LAnet, I can say, is participating in that process and is very likely to be one of the ISPs that will be on the dashboard that you can choose from and choose your service from.
Thank you for that. That's information I did not have. I will go look for your broadband thing.
Yeah. And I expect, Allan's been waiting patiently for all this to happen. And he and I have had conversations, and we're hoping it to move forward. I expect that Allan will be very active in communicating to existing customers and to anybody that'll listen about if he's on the network and what will happen and what you need to do and what the phases are. But there'll be a very close communication. You'll see a marketing plan come out and lots of posts and lots of information coming about it. But we've been waiting on certain things to happen. And like I said, the last big milestone to get approval is this coming Tuesday.
The worst time to try and make friends is when you've had a big problem. So all of us in the community desperately want this. And I know I've spoken more, but I've talked to probably 20 of my neighbors about the impact of yesterday. We all just were badly impacted. We got to fix it. We got to have resilience.
Yeah, I can say no other county in New Mexico has a broadband manager, and that's my job. Actually, Albuquerque has a person, and Los Alamos. So the council has made this a priority. I work on this full time, and it's, as I said, it's going slower than I want, but it is moving forward, and things are, they are progressing. We have too many outages. I'm trying to get there before the next outage happens. So it's very frustrating.
There needs to be a state law that when you cut a cable, you're going to pay everybody something back for their losses.
Kidding. So I can shed a little light. The outage happened at just off 599, the loop, and there's new houses and new street being built at about South Meadows exit where
yep, I know it.
where the golf course comes down, and the road from the golf course comes down and hits 599. I'm sure that they did locates, but if you look at what's all the activity that's there, it's not surprising if there's a fiber in there that they hit it. What fiber is going to get hit, you need redundant locations or redundant fiber. And so I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you can't. The issue isn't necessarily preventing cuts. It's basically having a system that is tolerant to those type things. A second line is good, third one's better, but that will drive up the cost that you have to pay as an internet provider. So I'll take a breath.
Mhm.
Allan.
No, thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I don't want to be the buzzkill here,
Go ahead.
but Los Alamos County doesn't have a very good reputation for cooperating with homeowners. I know about helping them get permits. I can tell you that from experience, just trying to get a new roof on my house. The county was very uncooperative and sent out one inspector after another who told me all different things about how I had to put the roof on. I mean, I finally was able to get a new roof, but it took weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for the county to help out with that. And they were really ugly to me throughout the whole process. So I was just wondering, has anyone else had problems with the county? Because I sure have, just as a homeowner.
You don't want to hear my stories, but Jerry, you've given me a little bit of hope that I'm glad you have 2 feeds on the docket. I think you need to identify 3 or 4 more, and we need to just put them on the docket for conversations. And you need to bring people in from the county. This is our future. We're all working remote with people all over the world, and help us find ways to get the feeds we need.
What kind of business do you have else?
I run space nukes.
What?
I build nuclear reactors for outer space.
Oh, I was thinking when you were talking about pipes and stuff, there's a pipe up here on my street that has been here for over 30 years. It keeps breaking all the time. There's a street, it's over on it's on Grand Canyon. It's one street over from Grand Canyon. It keeps having to be fixed over and over. And they go in and they fix it, sort of, but the infrastructure, I would just have to say the infrastructure in this county is not good.
It's underinvested in. That's what I did for 46 years of my career, is build communities and things all over the world. We are underinvesting in our utilities in this county. They're doing better on the electrical. Water still got some challenges. Sewer's a big challenge, and internet, as we were talking here tonight, we all know we got a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
I'd much rather spend the money there than on a new golf course that seems to have problems with its new grass.
I agree.
So I don't know if someone else has a question related with the internet. If not, there is some in the message. Someone is asking that what can we do to support cellular services. I think Jerrold talked about that, that they will have the option to connect to this secondary fiber, but that is something that they have to work on it. Fortunate, and that is the difference between large companies and smaller companies, is that Verizon won't care that there was no service yesterday, right? Because nothing's gonna change. You will be using their service. So they don't have any incentives to upgrade as Los Alamos network, we've been trying to get all these solutions. So hopefully soon we will have this secondary path, and that kind of answering the second question uh, about the fiber in White Rock. So with that, we have fiber to White Rock as well. So by having this secondary path will impact White Rock as well. So I don't know if someone else has a question, but real quick or a comment.
Keep up the good service, Allan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry.
Yeah, I would just reiterate, because it's a part of my job, is educating you guys with what the challenges are, and try to get your expectations realistic, and informing you as part of that. So what Allan said is very important. The county is trying to just enable things, but we can't make things happen with other providers other than the community broadband network. The community broadband network, we're going to build it, we're going to own it, we're going to hire a network operator, and we're going to put multiple ISPs on it that you can choose from. But the middle mile, the new 11-mile fiber line that San Ildefonso is building, we can't make Verizon get a second link. We can't make Comcast get a second link. We can't make Lumen get a second link. We can only say, hey, we helped build it. Now let's hope these other guys take advantage of it.
Competition is key in getting good service.
So
Yeah.
don't expect that it's just going to you got 2 lines, now everything's perfect. Each service provider has to make sure their service will operate over it. But if you buy internet from the CBN, it's going to have fault tolerance on it, and businesses will be able to purchase service over that. But again, if you add a third link, which I totally agree with, it may bump your cost up, say $2 a month or something. So just
cost me many thousands of dollars yesterday not having service.
I'm with you. Yep.
Thank you, Jerry. Sorry if I was a pain tonight, but my intentions are good for the county. This is our home. We want to see it better.
Oh, and I think we all are frustrated, right? And that's why, the idea of creating this, I'm glad that people join in. I know the frustration online and how this affects, we received today so many calls just trying to help people reconnect. And we know the demand of internet, right? And that's why we're here right now. Kind of we talk a little bit about what is our plans for these backup systems in different locations with Starlinks to avoid you buying a Starlink and switching. Instead, we will do that. We will put some efforts in the Starlinks, but pretty soon, hopefully starting next year, we will be connected to this fiber. So, it is not that far. I hope nothing happens from here to next year, and that we can survive and connect and have a redundancy that will help. It will help a lot to the community.
Thanks, Allan.
Yeah, I'm very impressed that how many of you are here tonight. Try to tune in when council meetings happen, or when Allan has meetings, because we want to be partners, and I want you to be educated and then make your decisions about what you need to do. But I'm very passionate about this job, and I want to see this project succeed. And I think with having concerned folks like you on this call, better times are coming.
Good. And hey, Jerrold, why don't you put your conduit under the bridge going across the Rio Grande rather than under the Rio Grande?
Not my conduit. That is San Ildefonso's design and how they're doing. I know from previous discussions, connecting to a bridge brings a whole other litany of issues and stuff that we have had that's presented other issues with that. So
Yeah,
it's up to San Ildefonso. So
thanks. Mostly that's political, not technical.
I just,
Mhm.
like I say, not my fiber, not my. We're just gonna lease from them.
Every bridge you see has cable going under it all the time. And so it's
Agreed.
silly. And doing a directional drill under a river, done it 1,000 times, it is hard. And it's got lots of environmental issues. You're using drilling mud and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, you just, we got to get the politicians to understand that what are technical issues and what are silly issues.
The bridge is an option. It first remains an option. But
And just, part of this, now that I'm thinking, it is to continue educate people, right, about these changes. So at least there is hope that, we don't have to abandon the chip of move somewhere else, but instead of, this is things that actually we've been working to make it happen today. So hopefully it's gonna come all into place and save the day, and that everything with the county goes smooth as well. So, at the end, the end user benefits about having this and not just stays unused.
I want these businesses are really important, and but it's also important for us little guys. I mean, I need the internet so I can pay my bills. I do most of my bill paying online, and use my bank online. So I'm not able to do any of that with the internet out. I'm not even able to use my phone.
And we're going to work with LAnet to try to see what wireless options we can have until the fiber comes in. But again, it would be degraded system, but
Right.
we are aware and we are trying to work for resiliency for this system. That way we can get that going.
Cool, Gerald. Well, thanks all.
Let me just say one thing that, I really do appreciate everybody coming on here and talking about this. And you can tell just by what Allan said about, Verizon not really caring. Who you don't see in this meeting is Verizon and Comcast and CenturyLink and all those. They were just the little guys in their big pool of or sea of businesses and customers and such. And I'm a big advocate of supporting local and local businesses. And so, I appreciate Allan and everything that he has done to try to be as he unfortunately has to be reactive instead of proactive in this situation right now. But hopefully we can get into more of a proactive state and start trying to build something better so then we won't have to do this anymore. But thank you, all of you.
Yeah, I use the LAnet, but also am I still on?
Yes.
I use both LAnet, which is really great, but then I'm also sharing Xfinity with my daughter who lives next door. Both of them were down yesterday. Both LAnet and Xfinity, which is Comcast, were both down. Couldn't use either one. Hello?
Yeah, no, yeah. So that's why, we're trying to solve that problem. So, we cannot be down and we will not be. Hopefully, again, starting next year, again, right now we're trying to kind of solving it with Starlinks, which are useful, especially again, that we can allocate for as an emergency and we still can communicate. We can be, you can do phone calls through that. But soon we'll be connected with fiber optic. So even if the fiber cut happens in Santa Fe or anywhere, that we will still be up and providing not just an emergency limited backup system, but something that can support all of our traffic.
Thanks.
So, yeah, that's perfect. That's good concern, good question, good answer. I put my email address in the chat. If you're like me, you're a lot of times on these Zoom calls, you're a listener and you have questions that may not get answered. Email me, and if I email you back, we can call and have a chat. I want you guys to be educated, and there's some a little bit difficult concepts, but if you see it and hear it enough, you'll start understanding what we're doing here. If a lot of this is the first time that you're hearing about fault tolerance and two fiber lines and multiple ISPs on a network, you'll begin to understand it. But I'm willing to talk to any of you guys that might have questions that didn't get answered tonight.
Well, listening to this has really helped me a lot.
Good.
Very good.
I will save this Zoom and post it when I have time on the website, so at least people know, and maybe, if someone wants to spend an hour watching this, but at least that we are talking about it, that there is some communication, and we'll continue providing maybe these updates.
Yeah, and Allan, maybe in the future we can have I have a presentation that I did a year ago to council that has some good slides that might be helpful for those that like pictures.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Someone wants something else, but it's almost 7, so I will go and now sleep after the craziness. So thank you so much. We'll try to do this again. Oh, and I also put my email in there, just in case.
Yep.
Well,
very good.
Gary and Jerrold, thank you so much. I think people appreciate, you guys providing and giving more updates and giving some answers that,
Always available, Allan.
So, maybe to try to do an update again. So I think it was important, and some people show up. So that is good.
Very good. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Thank you. We'll talk later. Bye.
Bye.